It's the night of 25th April 1951, and over the hills on both sides of this road, Route 11, battle is raging. It's now the third night of the Battle of the Imjin River, and way above the command level of the men in the trenches on these hills, a command decision has been reached. So massive is this Chinese offensive, so heavy is the enemy pressure, it's been decided to move the entire UN command line back about 12 miles further south. This will relieve pressure on the frontline units, and because the Chinese can't move during the day due to American tactical air, and because they don't have vehicles, this will buy the UNC arguably a day free of combat when the Chinese will have to redeploy. But of course, in war, the most dangerous operation is withdrawal while in contact with the enemy. So this message is spread across the front to the various divisions, brigades, including 29th Brigade here. And so Brigadier Tom Brodie summons officers from the two battalions in this battle area to his command post, which is just about a mile and a half south of here, down the valley, for their orders. The two officers in question are Tony Perrins, the intelligence officer of the Royal Northumberland Fusiliers, and Johnny Shaw, the second in command of the Royal Ulster Rifles. Johnny Shaw is an extremely experienced officer. He served in Special Forces in World War II, and he was the man who led the RUR rearguard out of the death trap in the January battle, northwest of Seoul. So these two officers head down to the command post, the brigade command post, and are briefed on what is to happen on the morning of the 25th, a withdrawal to Line Golden, this new defensive line. The two return to their battalion command posts, and there are two very different commanders commanding these two battalions. Kingsley Foster of the Royal Northumberland Fusiliers, Gerald Ricord of the Royal Ulster Rifles. Now, highly unusually, Foster and Ricord have never met. Ricord had joined the battalion just before battle commenced, and so their discussion takes place not face to face, but by radio or possibly by field telephone. And the discussion is contentious. Kingsley Foster is the senior officer, and he's the one with the most experience in career. And he tells Ricord, what we need to do is get off these hills as swiftly as we possibly can, get into the vehicles and race down valley to outpace the Chinese. Because the Chinese, of course, superb light infantry, can move very, very quickly cross country. Gerald Ricord, highly experienced soldier, says that's a terrible decision. We can't do it that way. We have to do this by the book. We move back step by step, one unit covering the other in a phased withdrawal. Time ticks as these two officers argue over the radio. Eventually, Foster loses his temper, gives his orders, puts down the radio receiver, and he turns to his intelligence officer, Tony Perrins, and he says, when we get out of this, I'm going to court-martial that bastard. That being Gerald Ricord. And Perrins says that when I heard this, I realized for the first time how dangerous our position was. Because Kingsley Foster, this very gentlemanly, avuncular officer, never swore. Meanwhile, up valley, Johnny Shaw calls over one of his young officers, Lieutenant Mervyn McCord, and he says, Mervyn, get out your camera. McCord had a Leica camera. Said, Mervyn, take my photograph and give it to Marion, his wife. Rather surprised at this order, McCord does what is told to do. And as you can see from the image, Johnny Shaw looks very, very grim-faced indeed. You can see the closeness of the valley, and you can also see the Imjin River mist, which would give some cover to moving men, is starting to lift. And indeed, 30 minutes after this photograph was taken, Johnny Shaw was killed in action. Mervyn McCord is convinced he had a premonition, or possibly he just realized how dangerous this operation was going to be. bloodiest part of the Battle of the Imjin River is about to begin. Our next stand is right here on this position. Stay with us.